Welcome to the Let's Talk Mac event for Thursday, June 17th, 2021. My name is Herbie Allen. I will be your head moderator on stage today, along with my wife, the lovely Chanel Allen. We are going to talk about anything Mac related. We will take your questions. If you have, answers, whatever. Now, a couple of announcements. First of all, this is part of the Blind Mac Users / iOS Club. If you have not done so, be sure to follow our club. You'll find it at the top of your screen there, to the left of my name. We also now have a Facebook group that was just launched last night, and if you search for Blind-Mac-Users, you will find it. I have already posted a couple of links there to a playlist of YouTube demos that I've recently done regarding the Mac. So there's one thing up there, and then we're going to be getting this recording uploaded as well, along with future recordings. So that way, when people do have questions, they'll be able to refer back to the recording for that session. I will be doing a couple of demos later on during this call. I have been asked to discuss what happens, like how can you unzip a file in the Mac. So we're going to talk about that. And if you want to unzip something, you also may need to know how to zip it up. So I'm going to discuss that as well. And I'm going to do a demo of the Contacts app for the Mac. So that is what I have on store for you all today. We do meet every Thursday. Normally we'd be meeting at 11 Central, but I had a webinar to attend to that really actually would have been better off being with you guys instead, but we won't go there. So next week we'll be back to our normal time. If you have any questions, just raise your hand and we will bring you up on stage. Afterwards, we will leave you up on stage unless you choose to move yourself to the audience. That way, if you want to help answer other questions, you may do so. We do not send out random invites for you to speak, so we assume if you do not raise your hand, you want to remain in the audience. If you do raise your hand, please... Oh, okay, so I thought somebody's knocking on the door. If you do want to raise your hand, please keep it raised, and we will get to you as soon as possible. We will try to do things in an orderly manner. And so like I said, if you do want to, I saw somebody had their hand raised earlier, but I think you lowered it. So if you do want to come on stage, you will need to raise it again. So, and Chanel, am I missing anything? You are muted.
Oh, no, I don't think you are missing any. Sorry, I muted myself because I was having background noise. And anyway, but I don't think you missed anything. We do have Mark here, and we have others in our crowd. Let's see, but if anybody, John Dennings, Susan.
Well, while you're all thinking about if you have questions, I'm going to... Yep.
Brenna, Daniel. So welcome, everyone. Get your hands raised if you want to come up on stage.
Yes. So what we're going to do in the meantime, I'm also going to give us a little discussion icebreaker that you could also choose to answer if you have nothing else to talk about. And so I asked my moderators to be thinking about this. So I'm going to give you my answer, and then Chanel's going to give hers, and then we will get to, I understand we have some raised hands already. So the question I'm asking this week is, name one thing you really love about your Mac. And it can be anything from, that you think it makes a great paperweight to you love it for music projects. For me, I love iMessage integration because I get a lot of information that I have to put on my website via text message. And I love the ability that I can just sit there, find what I need in the message, copy it, and paste it into the file that I use for the particular web page or whatever, or in some cases, the website itself. And so having that ability really makes life a lot easier. Before, if I wanted to do something like that, I'd have to paste it on the phone into a text document, then save the text document, which on the phone, it's doable, but it can be a little bit of a chore. So, just saving that extra step for me makes things a little bit easier. Also, being able to copy and paste attachments where I want them from iMessage really comes in handy. And I will demo that another time too. All right, Chanel.
Okay, what I love about my Mac, I just like the mail program. It's the mail app rather. It's so easy to use. It loads quickly. And you can it displays threads in a really nice way. So you can expand the thread and with the right arrow, read through. You can, it's kind of like looking at mail on iOS, except you have nice little keyboard commands to make things faster. So I like that app in my Mac.
Yes, indeed. I totally agree with that. Mark, our third moderator, do you have anything?
Yeah, of course I do. You know
Of
me.
course you do. I know you do. Well, what do you think we're asking you? All right, name one
um,
thing you love about your Mac.
okay, I'm verging on the paperweight, by the way, but no, to be
Hey, that's
serious,
okay.
I am there. I think I'm going to have to take one of Chanel's courses in the fall. And just heads up, Chanel, because
Oh, I know you're on the list.
okay, good.
We'll be
All right.
communicating soon.
All right. What I do like about the Mac, though, is the fact that number one, you don't have to buy a screen reader or upgrade your screen reader. When you upgrade your Mac and get the latest level of software, it's there. And that's something you don't have to worry about. And that everything, and I don't use it lots because I'm in a studio apartment and like my Mac is 20 feet away, but it's much more comfortable in the recliner with the phone. So I guess I'm kind of lazy in that regard, in the sense that why would I want to sit up in front of a Mac when I can be comfortable in my recliner and do essentially this same stuff on the phone? But I can see the possibilities, and so I'm leaving myself open to Chanel and for her to put up with me and in all of that regard when it comes to the course and to really master the Mac and get a handle on it. I think it's important
You'll
to
be
get
great.
a good base of knowledge because it's always good to know and good to share. And especially now that my Windows 10 is crapped out on the boot camp side, it's essential that, if I ever want to get the printer hooked up and have it going and need to use it, I'd have to get Sandy to set that up, of course, because it's all visual. No buttons per se, like for blind people. But you know, if we get this thing running, we can cook with it. So yeah, I can see the possibilities, and it's more than a paperweight. I mean, right now it is, but we're going to go in that other direction and may drive with it and see what happens. This is Mark in Montreal, and I'm done speaking.
I
Well, all this talk about cooking makes me think of Big Macs, and driving makes me think of Mac trucks.
I forgot. I guess what I could have said, I like my Mac because it can run Windows. That's really what I like about my
Yeah,
Mac.
well,
But
that's a legitimate thing to talk about. And
that
one of the things
um
I'm going to talk about is, to answer your question, Mark, is contacts and why you might want to do it on the Mac as
and
opposed to the phone.
yeah, and I just had a suggestion for Mark. I know you like to use the trackpad on the Mac, so this might not be too practical, but I lay in bed and use my computer all the time. It's called, because I don't have a desk, and
External keyboards,
it's called
and
an
they do have external trackpads as well, I do believe. So,
Oh, that's
all right,
true.
but
Herbie, okay. Well, you didn't
yes, well,
give
oh,
anybody
sorry.
else a chance to respond.
Well, I was trying to mention that we do actually have somebody on stage.
Yes, we do. We have a couple people.
All right, so John Denning, you are the first person I see. You can either answer our question or ask your own or do both, whatever you see fit to do.
Hello, everybody. Yes, that's a
Hello.
good question. Just to preface, I started with the Mac in 1984 with the 128K Mac. So I'm a strong Mac user, but I'm still a neophyte with VoiceOver. But I have to say one thing that I love is the consistent user interface. Sure, there's tweaks and little changes here and there, but no total metaphor change. You could sit down at a Mac today and from going from an old one, and you'll recognize it. Things will be different, but you'll recognize it, and you'll be able to get to work.
That's
I love
fascinating.
that.
So I could have a Mac from the '80s and recognize how to use it, complain about the limited amount of space maybe, but and the disk drives and all that. But I mean, I do remember disk drives from the back in the day, so that wouldn't be completely alien to me actually. So I think that is totally cool.
Yeah, but and when I'm talking to sighted people, I tell them that one thing I love is pretty much what was that? Was that Mark? I think that just spoke, or
Yes.
somebody that I can go any place and work on any Mac, and because I can turn on VoiceOver, even if which is the same with any iOS device or what have you,
And not
and
only
that's
that, you
so
can.
freeing.
It is, and not only that, you can carry your voiceover preferences on a hard drive. I don't know if you can do that with Narrator or not.
Yeah, and I wish the preferences for iOS VoiceOver were transportable. Like
Yes.
to your, migratable to your iPad, per se.
Interesting that they are not. They are definitely migratable if you upgrade your phone.
Right, right,
But
right. Yeah,
yeah,
I
that
really
is
mean, so I
yeah,
don't have to reinvent everything on my iPad
right.
when I got it
Well,
polished
I
on my
mean,
phone.
technically, I would say that the iPad is now its own OS. So, in some respects, that does make sense. It wouldn't have made sense, I'd say, a couple years ago. But now that iPad is its own OS, in a lot of respects, I could see. But I do know what you mean. Have a lot of the basic stuff, at least.
Yeah, I think VoiceOver is pretty much in parity, but maybe there's
Yeah.
something different. But yeah, that's my take.
All right. And did you have any other questions?
Not right now, but
All right. Well,
I
thank you, John.
reserve the right to ask a question.
You do. He reserves
Okay.
it. He's demanding his rights. Okay. All right, Chanel, who do we have next? Chanel?
Okay, sorry about that. Next.
Lady April is next in the queue, and
Yeah,
then there's somebody waiting on the bottom.
yeah, and I think you were going to deal with raised hands, Mark, or are you able to?
Am I? Yeah, I can do that. I
Okay.
can do
Okay.
that. Yeah, I can do
I
that. I
started
just
to,
didn't
and
know
then
We
I
if I had
weren't
the
remembered
right to
sure.
that
do it
was
or
Mark's
not.
job. So,
Yeah, we had a little bit. He wasn't sure if he was going to make it today,
right.
so we do apologize, folks. We're not trying to.
Are we leaving everybody up, or do
Yes.
you? Okay, all right. Okay, so
If they request to be moved to the audience, we will move them, or if they want to move themselves, that's fine. But
yeah,
otherwise,
that's fine. Okay,
we will just do
I'll
it.
see who's down there and bring them up.
Okay, so Lady A, I understand.
Yep.
This is Lady April Stroom, and
All right, welcome.
I am converting from a Windows 10 over to a MacBook Air. I love the MacBook Air because it's challenging my mind to adapt to a new operating system. And I do have one question, maybe somebody can answer this. Is there a good tutorial to teach someone how to use a Mac?
So I will. First of all, I totally understand where. Oh,
No,
what?
go ahead. Sorry, I'm muting.
Okay. So I totally understand where you are coming from. I am a recent Windows 10 convert myself. I still use Windows 10 via Boot Camp, but I got my MacBook Pro, excuse me, back in late 2019, and it's been a slow integration for me because I've had other things to contend with, like school and whatnot. But I used a lot of my free time last year to really get comfortable with the Mac. Um, that being said, now tutorials. I think one of the things I'm gonna do is post on the Facebook group is post with some of the tutorials Chanel recommends for her class that she uses. But AppleVis does have a great getting started for the Mac guide. VoiceOver itself also has a built-in tutorial. So those are two that really come to my mind right off the get-go. And then, of course, I'm going to do demos each week. So if there's a particular app you have questions about, if you ask me ahead of time, so I'm open to suggestions on what people want to learn. I'm willing to do, some, I want to help people with their Macs, and so knowing what you guys need help with will definitely help guide future demos as well. So we want this club to be a resource for
Okay,
you and
thank you.
everyone. And anybody else have any additional comments? Nope. Okay, then.
Hold on, let me see who else is next. Are you mean next or comments among us up here?
I first asked if anybody had any additional comments on Lady April's question first.
Okay. No, I don't. I just encourage you to look at Applevis, and Herbie will post the links. I do teach a class, and all the reading assignments I give come from Applevis, pretty much. So,
and I think there's talk about making the lessons publicly available on YouTube.
I believe so. Yes.
So we'll post those links in the Facebook group. And by the way, if you joined us late, we now have a Facebook group that is a companion to this club. It is called Blind-Mac-Users, and you can post additional stuff in there. I'm going to post resource links and whatnot to the group, and you can post questions there too. It is strictly Mac or anything related to the Mac. So I will delete anything that is off topic that does not have some relation to the Mac. A couple of upcoming demos I do have in mind before we get to our next person is next week I'm going to talk about watching TV on the Mac. And then I'm also going to discuss the Zoom conferencing app for the Mac. I'm going to alternating between internal and external demos here of apps. And like I said, I do want your feedback too on what are the things you would like me to demo. I did get a request about unzipping files last night, and I believe the person who asked that is indeed in the audience or on stage. They're part of the so we will be getting to that when we get to the demos portion of the thing, as well as I'm going to show you the Contacts app and what I love about it. Okay, Chanel.
Okay. So let's see.
And be sure to raise your hand, folks, if you want to come up on stage, and we will bring you up.
All right. Next we have Elisha Williams.
Elisha.
Hello, Herb and Chanel and all
Hello.
the gang here in the. One of the things I would actually like to see in the Mac as one of the demos, and Herbie, in this case, well, I direct it to you, but anyone has ever used GarageBands with a MIDI hookup to your Mac.
I will tell you right now. No. At least on my account. If anybody else actually knows GarageBand and wants to demo it, please talk to me outside the club, and we'll arrange that. I do not know GarageBand. I do not understand it.
No.
I've tried playing with it just to see if I could use it as a multi-file editor, and I definitely don't know MIDI. But I mean, we're not disregarding your request. I can just tell you truthfully that I know nothing about it, but I'm open to anybody else that does doing a demo up here on the stage at a future spot. So
okay,
we'll keep that request floating in case we can actually arrange something, or I can.
One more comment too before is that the thing about the Mac, the keyboard, you can use the Mac's keyboard to play on, while iOS the keyboard. Other than if you hooked it up via MIDI or you did audio tracks arrangements, then you could use the keyboard for the GarageBand instruments, but like using the audio recorder, you can lay on different tracks and do some really nice stuff with it.
I don't know if it was on YouTube, but because I would definitely play it if nobody is able. If we can't find anybody to do a live demo. There was a GarageBand for Mac demo that Chanel and I attended several months ago.
Yeah, it was back in the fall, and I don't know what they did with it.
I found it confusing and hard to follow personally, and maybe I know more about the Mac now where I'd have an easier time. But maybe at some point, Terry, you could talk more about what you do know about just making music on the Mac, because certainly that is a big thing for Mac users. So, but all right, well, thank you for your suggestion there, Elijah, and we will keep looking, and if anybody has any recommendations, definitely point them to this club, because we do want to our best to accommodate people. All right, I'm going to do a mass mute real quick, because we're getting a lot of background noise. And by the way, folks, if you're able to once you come up on stage, if you're able to switch your quality to high, that'll help you sound really good, and that'll definitely make you even clearer for the recording. And you do that, it's the I think it's the More Actions button to the left of my name, and if you double tap that, you'll see another button that says audio quality, and if you double tap that and double tap where it says high,
it's called Room Actions.
Room Actions. Okay. So if you double tap on Room Actions, double tap on audio quality, and double tap on high, that'll give you the best sound possible when you speak. So, and if you're on Club Deck, that's in the audio quality settings, so it defaults you to high. And who do we have? Or were you going to say something else?
No, that's fine. Somehow we accidentally skipped over 2 people. That was not intentional. So if you're ready to move on, we can go to.
I am. I'm relying on you to tell me who's on stage. I'm actually not looking because I'm.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to take care of insulin and stuff. So anyway, we have Susan Sumler.
All right, Susan. So we did mute everybody, so you will need to unmute at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. All right. Well, while we're waiting on you, Susan.
Hello.
There you are. Yes.
Yes. Sorry, I'm still learning. I'm going to ask a quick question. I know you're fixing to talk about it, but I'm waiting to have a root canal done here in just a little bit. So that means a biggie. So I'm not going to be around to hear your demo about the contacts. So this is why I'm going to be asking about it on the Mac, because I don't know how to use the contacts on the Mac. I tried recently. I couldn't even get into the list of people, for an example, A, B, C, D, all that stuff, or how to do anything in contacts. And this is the only reason why I'm asking you now, is because of my root canals coming up in just a little bit. But if you want to put it off, then I don't know. I'll understand.
I'll try to give a brief overview now, but this call is being recorded, and I may even make a separate recording just of the contacts demo. So we'll make sure that you get the links to those as well for the whole overview.
Thank you. I appreciate that, because like I said, I know zero about working
in
contacts.
So what you need to do is you need to VO right till you get to a scroll area, and then you can arrow down. There are some things you can do in preferences to, like you would on the phone, to sort how it displays things, and I forget what the defaults are because I have mine set to first and last name. And then you VO right to, or you uninteract and VO right to get into the particular contact person, the contact details. And there's a lot of sub-interacting you do have to do. But that's the kind of the basic overview. And if anybody else is familiar with contacts and you want to jump in, go right ahead. Even if we've not called your name, by the way, folks, you can still answer questions, just to clarify that point.
Well, okay. I'll look forward to hearing the whole demo. I assume you're going to give a whole lot of information, so I'll look forward to hearing that.
You're getting a root canal,
and if you can send me a private link, like you mentioned, fantastic. Either way, but thank you for what you said. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And we'll be covering it in a lot more detail.
Is there anything in particular, Susan, that you want to know how to do in contacts, or just use the app in general?
Uh-oh. I think she's muted. But one quick tip I will give everybody right now is, your contacts do merge with, Siri, especially if you have the iCloud contacts turned on. So you can always, if you're trying to use your Mac to call, somebody or message somebody, you do have Siri built into your Mac. So definitely, you can make full use of that.
And Herbie, this is John Denning.
John, yes.
One comment about that also is a lot of Mac apps, there's multi layers of what you have to interact with. So you'll be moving along and you're thinking, but I can't get that or there. I can't get there. It's because you need to interact again and go down one level. And
yep.
So I think if you just try interacting and okay, and if you get to where then it's you're editing a field, well then I interacted a little too far.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for that, John. And Chanel, who do we have next? Or Susan, are you still there? Did you have any other comments before we move on? Nope. Okay. All right, Chanel, who do we have next? Chanel?
Okay, so next we have Dan Miner. At least that's how the screen reader pronounces it. M-I-N-E-R. Dan.
All right, Dan.
Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt real fast, but I figured I better do it before I leave to get slaughtered. Now I forgot what you asked, Herbie.
I just wanted anything specific.
I just wanted to thank you real fast. I appreciate you giving me whatever information. I'll look forward to getting all of the information on YouTube and whatever other link you mentioned. So I appreciate it very much. Y'all have a good day. Take care.
So one thing I want to mention on YouTube, so if you actually subscribe to my channel, I'm gonna have 2 separate playlists. Well, actually 3 because of another club that I also run. But so I have a playlist now called Mac Demos. It's called Blind Mac Demos. So these consist of demos that I have done so far that I've posted to YouTube and one that Chanel did. So I've got ones for VLC, Media Player. It's a different one from the live demo I did last week. I've also got another one for Twitterrific for Mac. And then I've got Chanel's that she did for Macintalk for the calendar app on the Mac. And I'm also going to create another playlist specifically devoted to these calls, but I recognize that some people might find it easier if you just want a demo. So I'm also going to continue to do a separate demo. Sometimes it may just be copying the live demo over, or it may be slightly different because I might cover something slightly different. And that'll be in the Blind Mac Demos playlist. So if you follow the so if you subscribe to the playlists as well, that can make it easier I'm hoping it'll make it easier for people to find stuff. So, all right, Dan, do apologize.
Oh, well, yeah, that's okay. So I wanted to circle back around to what do we like about the Mac?
Yes.
So I like that the Mac has VoiceOver available in many of its recovery modes, because when something goes wrong, it's so frustrating having to try to piece your computer back together when you have to go and get somebody. So that's what I really like. Windows has only recently added that, and the Mac's had it there for a while from what I can tell.
All right, that is totally cool. Oh, I've never dealt with recovery mode myself, but that's good to know if I ever have to. Okay, and did you have something else?
Well, yeah, now to the question. So I am also a Windows user who's used to the more traditional screen readers, and I even work on Linux, which operates a lot like a Windows screen reader. And I am wondering, how do you translate the site lingo of drag this icon and drop it here into VoiceOver kind of actions? Do you have any resources on common ways of doing that?
I can attempt to answer. Okay.
Yes, please do.
And that's one of the first things I actually loved about the Mac is the recovery mode was totally, I could basically totally clean out my Mac and
expert in that, but anyway.
And still have a functioning screen reader. How neat is that? So yes, As far as drag and drop, so there are a couple things you can do with VoiceOver, and I will admit, I still prefer Windows, and I have not been giving my Mac enough TLC lately. So the way you do things in Big Sur or whatever may be different. But what I have done in the past, VoiceOver has two things. One is a dedicated drag and drop command where if you use VO and the letter comma, your VO keys being either caps lock or control and option, followed by the letter comma, you can press that on something that you want to drag. Maybe it's, I don't know, an app. I haven't found that too successful, or a mailbox. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You have to be interacted. So I do a lot of things on the Mac without interacting. I go through email without interacting. I look at files without interacting. It's really only necessary if you want to examine specific details, or if you want to do things like VoiceOver select, copy, all of that. So what you have to do is interact before you begin the drag and drop. And then you can use VO comma will start the drag action. You command tab or move or whatever to what other app or part of the screen you want, and then do VO period. That would drop it. You can do things like VO period, VO comma, VO shift, comma, different to put things like before an item, after an item. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The more reliable method you're going to find, and this works for arranging favorites, let's say in the mailboxes, in the favorites bar of the mail app, you would actually do where you interact, you find the item that you want, and then you have to do, so VoiceOver has several actions to route cursors to one another. So you would actually need to do VO command F5. What that does is it brings the mouse to focus where the VoiceOver cursor is at. And so once you do that, then you can do, so VO shift space is the equivalent of a single click. VO shift space twice is a double click. But when you want to drag something, you actually lock down the mouse with VO command shift space. And so then that will begin, that actually locks the mouse on the item. Then you go to whatever part of the screen or whatever app you wish to drag that item to. Sometimes you have to turn what this feature called virtual tracking off, where the cursor, so I don't quite know how to explain it. I think sometimes if, one cursor is keeping track of the VoiceOver cursor, once you've started the drag, it doesn't work or something. So anyway, suffice it to say, this is all a bit complicated, but once you know the keystrokes, it's pretty easy, and you could probably even use Keyboard Commander or a Trackpad Commander to create some commands that would, mean you wouldn't have to press so many keys down. But that's essentially what you do. And so then you find the spot you want to drag it to, you do VO command shift space. Now, I will say though too, sometimes you can get away with copy and paste so that you don't have to drag, a standard command C and then command V. I've done that when, let's say, creating aliases for things that I want to put those aliases on the desktop. I'll just copy it, do VO shift D and command V for paste, or if that doesn't work, I'll do copy it and then do command shift D. If I'm in my Finder, that actually takes me to the desktop folder, and then I can paste an alias in there, and then it will actually appear on the desktop. Or if I'm taking apps from when I download an app and put it in the app, the applications folder, I just copy and paste. So most of the time when something says drag and drop, I would try to get away with copy and paste first, see if that can't be done. And then if that can't be done, try the drag and drop. And sorry, that was a bit long-winded. I was just kind of formulating my answer, and I hope I haven't totally lost you. And if I have, I'm sorry.
No, actually, I didn't know about the shift up shifting method for doing the click and hold. And I assume the drop is just a normal click.
Yeah,
then.
you lock the mouse with VO Command Shift Space, and then you go to wherever you want to paste it or move it, and then do VO Command Shift Space again. But you have to make sure, you have to kind of route your mouse cursor to wherever you want it to go again, and so, it's a little bit of a multi-step process, but it can be done.
So so essentially you're doing it the mousy way.
Yes,
with
exactly. Yep.
Gotcha.
And the great thing is VoiceOver has a wonderful commands help. So you can do VOHH, and let's say you're trying to search for anything dealing with the mouse. You could type in MOU, it'll narrow the commands down, and then you can just press enter on the one you want, and that command is carried out.
Oh, okay.
So those VO commands help is anything for VoiceOver commands. And so, that's another way to get around without having to, because who's going to remember all those keyboard commands all the time? There's a lot of things I don't remember. It's
particularly if you only use it once
exactly.
a month.
So VoiceOver commands help is your friend. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so does anybody else have any comments? Nope. All right, so if you're new to the audience, we're talking about two things. First of all, I have an icebreaker question that you can choose to answer. We're talking about name one thing you love about the Mac, and it can be anything from it's a good paperweight, I like the little Apple logo, in Chanel's case, running Windows on it, to, making music with it, or, we've talked about built-in screen readers. One thing I would certainly love to play with on the Mac is the 6-speaker array on the newer M1 iMacs, but you can choose to answer that, if not, and do nothing else, or you can choose to answer that and ask your own question, or if you have any additional answers to another question, that's fine too, or you don't even have to answer the icebreaker question, or you can come up here and say you love nothing about the Mac. That's fine too.
He just wants some discussion and controversy. No.
We want people's
all
feelings.
Right. So we do have...
Okay. Anyway, but who... Yes, I was going to ask who we have
Martin.
Next. Daniel Martin. Hello, Daniel.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm fine. I was talking to you last week about, I was thinking about buying a MacBook Air, and I needed whatever, but I made the jump and I bought a 16 gig M1 Mac Mini that I've not, I haven't gotten delivery yet. I'm not sure about the shipping. I think Bezos is going to throw it out of the spaceship down to my house, and that's how I'm supposed to get it, but...
It'll actually, so I can tell you this, what it is, it's going to get launched into orbit by Elon Musk, then it's going to get transferred over to another shuttle by Bezos, who's going to send it down to a drone that is then going to drop it down to your house. And what's even the most remarkable thing about this is all this is taking place from a warehouse in your city.
Okay, but here's the question, and is Lady A going to...
Uh-oh.
Is Lady A going to want? I think Bezos
is...
Oh, yes. She will make notification sounds.
That's comforting. So anyway, but here's it's actually, I was thinking about asking you this during the week, and it's not exactly what your icebreaker thing is, but it's related. It's related.
Yeah. Well, the icebreaker is just to give some people something to talk about if they want. So,
here's the thing. I love to create what I call beast of burden. And what that is essentially is old tech that I can repurpose to something else.
That's what a lot of people call the Rolling Stones. But anyway, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. I actually saw them a long time ago. But anyway, so the Macs are ideally suited for this in the sense that, like, I have upstairs, in my computer room, I've got an iMac, an old iMac, and a Mac Mini, which I never actually learned to use.
And what I'm curious about is, and you sort of alluded to this, Herbie, last week. You said you've got an old MacBook hanging around that you use for like a dedicated purpose. I'm curious as to what, if there are uses that old Macs, regardless of the type and regardless of how far they've been updated with Mac OS, that people use them for. And then I have a specific question. I do have a question for Mark. Before I lost my sight, I was a dedicated bicyclist. And this time of year, I always used to ride my bike up to Montreal because we're very close to Saint Jean Baptiste Day. And I was wondering if they're doing anything this year up in Montreal for that. And I'll shut up.
Oh, we're happy to have you. And Herbie, you're muted.
All right. I love the people we have on this
Yes.
club. I'm just saying. We're talking about repurposing old Macs. So you and John Denning, we could start you guys off in a private club and exchange notes, maybe. Okay. So I'll tell you there's only one reason why I have actually two reasons why I have an old MacBook Pro. One, if I need to look up a Mac command and I'm on the Windows side of my boot camp machine, because there's some things that are still easier for me on Windows, mainly broadcasting. But the big reason is, so I have an Apple Music converter. But the way it works is you have to change your default sound card to this built-in one that you get no sound from or whatever. And I listen to a lot of things on the computer, like with Safari and whatnot, that it's not always possible to change the default sound card. And so what I use is, so I have that Mac dedicated to the Apple Music conversion because it takes a little while. So it can sit there and, do the converting and whatnot and not interfere with my computer functions on the newer Mac. That being said, I'm rethinking it because the downside is the older Mac does not support the Apple lossless quality. So I'm rethinking about the old Mac a little bit and maybe what I want to do. But that is the main reason why I keep the old Mac. And then if I do need to look up how to do something in Catalina as opposed to Big Sur, that can be useful too, though sometimes I forget how to do stuff in Catalina. There are some differences, like I was looking at something that there's like, oh yeah, there's no notification center or control center here. So that is why I keep an old Mac around. I'd love to have a slightly newer one that could support Big Sur, because that would actually, suit me better altogether. But it's just because of the nature of that particular program and how you have to do a lot of sound card switching with it. And I'd have to remember to switch between sound cards sometimes on this machine, not to mention notifications and whatnot can interfere with the process, because it's not a straight, I'll take the file and strip the coding off of it. It kind of, I think, re-records it. So that is why I do. And anybody else?
Yeah, how to repurpose those old Macs. That's an awesome question. And that's what I love, that we have so many people in here with a diverse, range of interests. I can answer something geeky about, drag and drop and Mac recovery, and Herbie can answer something about music and Macs and whatever, and the Mac models. And so we've, anyway, I don't have any comments about that. Does anyone else have any comments?
I'd love to play with one of those old Macs that had like the Echo speech synthesizer attached to them and play those old games. Anyway.
Well, I do have a comment.
Terry Walker with a comment too.
All right, John, and then Terry.
Or was it Ibrahim? Or no, was it John? Okay, who was...
Well, Dan was speaking.
Yeah,
Dan, I'm sorry.
Dan. Okay.
Oh, dear. All right.
Okay, so Dan and then Terry.
Okay.
Chanel, you missed Lady April. She's right up at the top. I don't know if Herbie's
we did her.
PTR.
Yeah, we got to we got to Lady April.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. There's
yes,
Nancy and there's somebody else.
We're
kind
of going back through the list. Yeah.
Okay. We're getting to everybody. I mean, if you still want to jump in with an answer to any of these questions, go right ahead. But we will call on you for
Yeah, and that's
anyway.
Exactly
Okay,
what
Dan.
I was trying to do. So I got a 2014 mini Mac that I'm using for my Logic Pro learning and whatnot, and it just has 8 gigs of RAM on it. I just have a monitor on it so it boots, and I use VoiceOver for all of that. So that's how I use the very old computer because I can't afford the newer Macs.
That's great.
All right, Terry.
Yeah, another thing you can use if you need some extra space, use it as a file server on your home network. Along with any other Windows machines, or if you want to keep those and use those as file servers for storage and so forth.
I'm personally more a bigger fan of cloud storage just because, I can access those files from anywhere on any device that I have logged into, with Dropbox or iCloud. But yeah, that is definitely another good use for it. So.
Yep.
All right. Awesome, guys. Anybody else on this particular subject? All right. So, Mark, do you want to go ahead and answer Daniel's other question?
Sorry, what was the question? I was doing something here, and so maybe.
Are you doing anything, or are they doing anything up in Montreal to celebrate Saint Jean Baptiste Day?
Oh yeah, it's going to go on. Everybody should be vaccinated by then. For their two, they're hoping. We're in the yellow zone at the moment, and that'll last till probably the end of August, when we should be green if all goes according to Hoyle. The border is still closed, though.
Right.
And probably will be for another month, to the end of this month, but they're saying now for another month. They haven't announced it officially, but probably till the end of July at this point.
I would assume there's no jazz festival up there this year, though.
No.
Yeah.
No, it may be online, and it may be postponed till September. That's what they did last year.
Well, one suggestion I do have then, guys, if it's online, then you would be able to use your Macs to potentially listen to it. So navigate that website with Safari.
Just Google Montreal Jazz Festival, or Google Just for Laughs Montreal, and a lot of those things are online, or they were last year. I don't know what's happening this year. I know Oceana got canceled. All the big heavy metal bands that was supposed to be in July, that one got canceled. So, and the Grand Prix is, of course, Formula One, is canceled as well. So.
All right, guys. Well, let's move on now. So I think we have Nancy next. Hello, Nancy.
Hello, everyone. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much for hosting this room. So I want to first answer the icebreaker. I'm a person who doesn't really know much about Macs, but one of the things that I really, really like about it is that they have pink Macs, and I really want to get one.
All right. I told you folks, we'll take anything that you got for this question. So pink Macs, all right.
So
I've
now
heard of pink houses, but not pink Macs. Okay.
Now onto my question. I would like to start learning to use the Mac because at my job, we do work with individuals teaching, assistive technology, and we don't get a lot of Mac users, but occasionally we get some people who want to learn, and I would love to be able to provide some, useful information and be able to teach them if they need that service. So what would you recommend what resources would you recommend for someone like me who wants to start using the Mac and learning how to use it with VoiceOver?
Well, this club, for one, that's our purpose is to help people, with Mac-related questions, definitely. And like I said, I will take requests for demos, and if I don't know the answer, like we had earlier with Terry's request, I will, if I can find somebody that does. So that's one resource. Of course, AppleVis is definitely the big one. They have a lot of, getting started guides, and I'm not sure how much they have in the way of Mac-related podcasts. David Woodbridge is another great resource. He does a lot on
They actually do have several Mac podcasts. Some of the basics ones are a bit outdated, but they do have podcasts covering other apps. So yeah, you should. They're constantly changing what.
And then also there is, what is the name of that book series called that who Jonathan Mosen interviewed a couple weeks ago?
There is Janet Ingber with National Braille Press,
Yes,
and
yes.
she has written books on the Mac.
Yes. She's written books on the Mac and
No, there's
iOS,
a different
and I
iOS
think
author. Same company, different.
Okay.
Janet
Janet
Ingber has done the Mac.
Okay, I've never read any of those books. I've just heard about them, so I do apologize.
Are you talking about Shelley Briss's book?
That's what she's one person, but there's Herbie was thinking.
There's Judy Dixon, and
Anne has done iOS. Most of these people are iOS.
Yeah.
I think Janet's the only one that's done the
most
Mac.
of them are. I think so. And my book's from 2017, so it's ancient.
Yeah.
But she's either she's come out with it or is about to come out with an updated book regarding Big Sur. Also on YouTube, in addition to my demos, Hadley has a series of iFocus demos that I believe deal with.
No, there's some Mac.
Just iOS.
No, they have some Mac.
There's some Mac stuff, but it's very very basic because that's where I went first, and I didn't find anything there that I needed to know. So like I was beyond that. So yeah.
And can you repeat the name of your demo? I think you said your channel.
So my demo, if you search for my name, that's one way to find the channel. Herbie Allen, HERBIE. Okay. You could look for. I have a playlist called Blind Mac Blind Mac Demos. So if you search for that playlist, you'll see various demos in there. They're not necessarily designed for the beginner. They're more to deal with a lot more external apps. So, like if you know how to the basics of voiceover navigation, they're going to be more helpful in that context. But we're also going to be iBug today is also potentially going to be releasing some of instructional videos that Chanel has put together for her Mac class. So that'll be another resource that you'll be able to freely tap into once that is up and running.
And definitely follow this club. I think I've seen you on.
Yes, I just followed
it. Well, I will get you approved, and then I can do that right now.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
Great question, guys. Okay, who do we have next?
Okay, let's see. We have. All right, I think the only one we have not gotten to are Anna and JC.
All right, Anna.
So that's Cindy, Anna, but.
Yeah, but I don't have to get to start singing.
I was just trying to get into a not so noisy environment, but anyways.
Yeah, it sounds like you're having a big party over there where you're at, definitely.
Yeah. But,
and how come we didn't get invited?
Oh boy.
I'm not sure we want to. I'm just asking, just so we can have the option of declining. But anyway.
Well, the icebreaker, I would say, I don't know. I like my MacBook Air because, like, I like using apps like Skype and stuff on it. I like being able to type on the keyboard. So
awesome.
And the screen reader is just right there,
Yep.
Like that.
I do want to be fair and point out that Windows has come a long way. You do have narrator built in now, so I mean, it's not as good as VoiceOver, but it is there. So I want to be fair, even though I'm trying to be fair here. So, anyway, did you have any questions?
Well, because I know, I don't know if you got my thing earlier, but I'm supposed to be going out. So I didn't know if you were going to just do the contacts or do the unzipping.
We're going to do the zipping and unzipping first, and then we're going to get to contacts. And that's only going to take a couple minutes. So
I see.
I see.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Anna was the one that requested help with unzipping files and what to expect. So that's very easy, actually. So that's why that we're going to be able to incorporate that. All right, JC.
You got my name right. Two of you got my name right. Okay, so you mentioned well, not you, but someone mentioned the book. I think I remember the name. Are you talking about the iOS without the I? Are you talking about that?
I was thinking about that, but there's some more specific books on the Mac.
Oh no, I don't even Access for All. Is that it? Access for All?
It's okay.
No? Oh darn it! I thought
those
it was.
are all great iOS books, by the way.
I know, but those are, but when 15 comes out, they're going to start it all over again with new, because I'm beta testing it right now, and there's a lot of new features. Well, not a lot.
So we're mainly here to talk about the Mac, and sometimes we'll do iOS demos. I know we still have to do one of those yet, but we are mainly here to talk all about the Mac, and we can talk about how it intersects or with iOS, how we can make the most of both worlds, but we're mainly focused on the Mac.
Definitely.
I've been a Mac user for so long. I've been a Mac user for 5 years now, and I've had to play with it, and it's pretty good. Sadly, my Mac that I have will not take Monterey. Sadly, this will be my last update before Mac OS Monterey.
Hello?
I have to get a new MacBook in the future, which is...
Yep, we will get to you in just a moment.
Which is pretty bad, but I'll have to start saving again, and, it's... does anyone have any M1 Max experience? If they do, I was wondering what is the overall user experience on an M1 Mac from a voiceover's perspective compared to the Macs that people are used to using with Intel chips?
I don't. Yes, hello. We'll get to you in just a minute.
Yep.
Unless, do you have any? Are you familiar? Yeah. Do you have an M1 Mac?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. My bad.
Okay.
I'd love to have an M1 Mac, but does any... Well, actually, no, Anna has an M1 Mac, but beyond that, not sure if anybody else, including Anna, wants to say anything on the subject. All right, I guess not. Did you have any particular questions about the M1, or just what it was like in general?
I just wanted to find out in general because I'm planning to upgrade in the future to an M1 Mac, and I just wanted to find out from if anyone has any experiences using an M1 Mac from a voiceover user's point of view, and how it compares to the regular Intel processors for comparison. That's all. Nothing bad.
Hello, this is John Denning. I don't have firsthand experience. That's why I didn't respond. But secondhand experience is that it's tremendous. And then just even all reports of non-voiceover that it's such a powerhouse machine that it is so much faster. And voiceover loves power. So, when you beef up the computer, it's just going to thrive. So I've got one on order. I'm getting the 24-inch iMac. So I'll be able to say firsthand in not too long.
Nice.
Wow, it is indeed a powerhouse. I've never tried it, but thank you for that. Share your thought, and if you do, please come back and let us know once you get your Mac, and let us know about it.
Oh yeah.
You can definitely find plenty of posts about the M1 Mac experience on AppleVis
David
and
Woodbridge,
all that too. But yeah.
I'm subscribed to
Actually,
Applevis. I'm subscribed to their podcast, so I get podcast posts every time
Well,
they
there's
post a
even
new
a lot
episode, so
just
I'm
on
able
their
to
All
listen.
right.
blogs and on their website. A lot of discussion that may be valuable for you to look at.
I did look at one, but that was from 2016. That was not the most recent update, but it still
Well,
gave me an idea
the
on
M1
how to
Max
use
have
the
just
touch
come
bar and
out.
things. Yeah, but not the current ones. The ones they're shipping now
Right,
are
right.
2020, and in October they're going to do another one, which will be shipped again to 2021.
All
But
right.
still, you know.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you, JC. Okay.
We
Do
have
we have
Henrik.
anybody else?
Henrik,
Henrik.
yes, hello. I'm from
Hello.
Norway.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you. I just have a question. I'm not so into this Mac things, but I have tried a little bit, but very vice versa, like iPhone, and of course many other differences as well. But I think I will learn it very easy and so on when I get one. But I have tried a little bit on Macs and this touchpad thing, and yeah. But it's the Clubhouse. Does it exist for Mac? Clubhouse
There is an app called Club Deck. There is not an official Clubhouse app for the Mac, but for Windows, you can use an app called Club Deck for Mac and Windows.
Okay. But it's very similar to
It'll let you access
Clubhouse?
Clubhouse, but it is not supported by Clubhouse. But yes, it is. It offers. It has some great advantages if you like being on your computer, but otherwise, you can use the app on the official Clubhouse app on iPhone.
Just an alternative, or what can we say? Extension or something?
Yep.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so I think before we get to anybody else, I want to do my first little demo. This is not so much a demo, but a quick tip on zipping and unzipping files with the Mac, because you'll find that it's actually very easy to do. So I'm going to...
Doc, loop.
You should now be hearing my voiceover.
Finder, open, 1 of 34. Finder, Herbie Aaron P. Window.
And Chanel, are you guys hearing it?
Herbie Aaron P.
Okay, perfect.
Bibles and stuff.
So I'm going to show you how to... So first of all, maybe you're wondering, okay, why would I want to zip files? Well, sometimes if you have multiple files to send via email or whatever, that's an easier way, or for an easy downloadable archive for a website. Voice Dream Reader is a great example. If you have a bunch of audiobooks that are set up as a bunch of little MP3 files or whatever, you can zip them on your Mac and then transfer them to Voice Dream, which will extract them and play them. So,
One Friday Night Hidden Half.pdf.
We're going to...
Acts of the Apostles Doc. ADW Affirmations from Scripture. Bibles.
Let's see. Let's find some we can zip
Agatha
up
Christie.
here.
Bibles and Study.
For some text files.
Bible Reading Guide. Bible. Folder. 01 Genesis.txt. 02 Exodus.txt.
Okay,
01.
so we've got a Bible folder here that has each book of the Bible in its own text file. Well, I want to give somebody the first 5 books, and they find it easier to read in a zip format. So since I just want the first 5, I'm going to do shift down arrow. If I was doing the entire folder, I could do Command A. So we're at the top here.
02 Exodus. 03 Leviticus. 04 05 Deuteronomy. Text added to select.
There, so it told me all those were added to the selection. And now I'm going to do a VO Shift M, as in menu.
Menu. New folder with... Open. Open with. Move to trash. Get info. Rename 5 items. Compress 5 items.
Compress. And that's what we want, is the compress 5 items. And that'll tell you how many, it'll even tell you. So we're going to hit enter.
01 Genesis.txt. Copy. Window. Stop progress. Button. Bible. Window. 01 Genesis.
And I chose text files just because those are the quickest. Audio files, depending on their size, will take longer. So now what you're going to see is, this is one thing I love about the Mac over Windows. Whenever you do this on Windows, it gives you the zip file with the file name of the first one in the selection. But on the Mac, we now get something useful called archive.
Testnotes.txt archive.zip. Zip archive.
And we're already even on the file. So now I could rename this to
archive.zip. Archive is selected edit text. Archive.
And just tell everybody how you are renaming it.
Yep.
No,
that's what I'm going to do. So I hit enter. Yes, that's what I was getting to. So I'm doing that.
Archive.
And then I did a command, an option shift right arrow to select the word archive. And what's really interesting, sometimes it can be frustrating, but VoiceOver does not necessarily select the punctuation. It just selects the word. And that really comes in handle in this situation. So now I'm going to hit the delete key, which is backspace on your Mac. Yep, and you could just type over it too.
Selection deleted.
Sometimes I forget the Mac isn't Windows. Like in Windows, I'm so used to Windows habits where if I was to type over it, it might erase the .zip and throw a fit. But I forget the Mac is not as picky. But
period.
But you see now we are left with the .zip. So now I'm just going to type Pentateuch.
You don't even know how to spell that.
Window Pentabook.zip.
No, but for our purposes, it doesn't matter. So now I'm going to copy this and move it
Bibles and Studies group
into my main Dropbox folder here. Okay, so now what happens if I am the person who's opening the zip file on
and how did you move it?
I did command
Option V.
Command Option V.
Books, Bibles and Studies folder, personal documents, promo material, public, radio, recipe, public, promo, personal, Nick's musical, RJ Herbie, show, Steph Herbie, folder, U8 Vault, Zoom, Zoom meetings, folder,
disappeared them.
Personal documents,
oh, I see.
folder.
I know why.
Nick's musical memory, personal documents,
unfortunately,
folder, music, personal documents, Nick's music, Bibles and Studies, one Friday, Pastor Sneed, Pentabook.zip, zip archive.
Okay, so anyway, like I said, I didn't spell it correctly, but that's fine. That doesn't matter for our purposes. So I'm now going to do a Command O.
Open. Finder. Pentabook. Folder.
So notice how it said archive, blah, 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 and then it made that little sound. So now I'm going to up arrow.
Pathways of the Pioneer. Pentabook. Folder.
So it's actually already put me there. So there's now a Pentateuch folder. And if I right arrow on that, or if I was in list view, I would do the Command O.
01 Genesis.txt group. 02 Exodus.txt.
I've got my files in that little folder.
05 Deuteronomy.txt removed from selection. 0 item selected.
If you go out of there,
Pentabook.zip.
The zip file is still there. So it does not erase the zip file, but what it does is automatically extract it into a separate folder. And if you have, depending on your structure, you'll either see them named together, or if you've uncheck that option, then you'll have to go down to find the zip file. But I have everything, the folders and files, all in the alphabetical order. So that is how you unzip. Well, that's how you both zip and unzip a file. And I will take any questions.
This is Lady Apelstrom, and I have a question for you.
Go right ahead.
Have they come out with a Zoom program for the Big Sur and the non-M1 machines?
So you're talking about the conferencing app?
Yes.
Yes.
You're not.
Okay, because the one that I had was for the M1, and I don't have the M1 yet.
So if you download it from the website, it should recognize which operating system you have. I was not aware that there was a different Zoom for the M1
actually.
Mac, but that doesn't surprise me. But if you go to the web, if you go to zoom.us and you go to downloads, it should find the correct one for you, or there should be a link for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else with any questions in general or questions on this little demo? All right. Do we have anybody else who's not been called on yet?
Hello.
Oh, hello.
I'm sorry for the
Who's this?
background, but this is Eric. I work in a factory here, so I'm sorry for the background.
That's okay.
But I wanted to ask you some questions, my friend. I think one of these guys has a new Mac, and I was wondering, just basic basic experiences. Do you guys, do you like it with voiceover? And I'm actually going to get the 24-inch with the. Of course, I'm going to upgrade the RAM and the storage because the default config is a toy. I'm sorry to say that.
Well, it's totally understandable.
But so you have any comments or let me know. I'll put myself on mute so you don't have to be tortured by all this nonsense.
Well, before you go on mute, I just have one question. So then, are you an experienced Mac user, or is this going to be your first one?
No. This is not. I've had a Mac since 2013.
All right. So for you, I mean, it's not going to be anything new. Just if it's the M1 chip, it's going to be faster and better, obviously. But does anybody else have any comments?
Well, I'd be curious to know too, because I know that the M1 Mac that I have is like it has like an SSD in it, so you don't actually hear a fan. So I was kind of wondering if maybe the iMac would probably be different or pretty much similar.
Well, I will tell you first of all that in my 2019 MacBook Pro, which is an SSD-based drive, but it's the older processor, you don't hear the fan in it either unless it's running really intensely. So it's already the older computers are very, very quiet, even though it's an Intel-based machine. What they've done on your particular Mac is made it so that even heavier processes now won't activate the fan or won't activate it as much. And I can tell you it's a little I mean, I love the quietness of the Mac, except for when it's not talking to me, and I don't know if it's booted up or not. But and I don't know if it's a battery issue or a speech issue. But otherwise, but I'm glad now they put the startup chime back on, and that tells me, most of the time what issue I'm dealing with. Unless it's on the Windows side that has its own problems, i.e. not shutting down properly and I didn't know it. But I don't know, iMac users, do you guys get the fan still or not?
No, not really. So basically, it's based on the workloads that you basically give it. And there's a governor, but no, I don't. No, the only time the fan actually revs up is when you're actually, of course, when you, like, for example, doing the software install. This is, of course,
right.
Now, I will say that this is on an Intel-based machine with no SSD. This has a spinning disk.
Okay, so wow, even those are quiet. That's totally cool. And the MacBook Air was designed to be more iPad-like anyway, but so yeah, I think you'd find even the newer iMac would be super quiet.
This is John Denning. This goes back to Mike's comment about what I like is that it's consistent, because he asked about the differences with using the M1, and well, it's the exact same operating system. I mean, written for the M1, but it's the same user interface as if you had it on a Intel. So your user experience in that regard doesn't change. And all reports is that it's incredibly quiet, that you have to try to tax it with like video encoding and so forth to get the fan to go, and even then it's quiet.
I've noticed that Windows runs my fan more than the Mac does. But I was thinking about, so I have Chanel's old MacBook 2012 model, and when it's not running any processes, it's super quiet too, actually. I can tell a little bit easier that it is on, like if I'm right next to it or whatever. So even back in the day, Apple was always definitely trying to make things super quiet to the best of their ability. So, all right.
Yeah, if you guys are talking about processes, if you want to text your Mac, that's of course up to you. You could easily just just download some random of course, some software and just compile it. It doesn't have to be very large, but at least that would give you some idea of what you should expect under a workload.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you, Eric. And do we have anybody else?
Hi, this is Dan Martin.
Okay, Dan.
I'm about as technical as probably less than anybody in the room, but there were a couple of things to comment on these recent things. Is like with the fan thing, it's my understanding that the more moving parts you have, the faster the things move, then they heat up and they have to be cooled. So when you're dealing with the M1, for example, which, as far as I know, you have to have an SSD in all of the models. You're not going to have any moving parts.
No.
So that's going to... Now, the other thing that I didn't quite get with the M1, and I'm really just kind of throwing this out, telling you what my understanding is, and if I'm wrong, which wouldn't surprise me, please somebody correct me, is I was curious, if I bought an 8 gig M1 computer, could I upgrade it? And no, you can't. And my understanding is the reason why is that the RAM is built right into the chip.
Yes.
The M1 chip and the RAM are one thing. That's one of the things, I guess, that makes it screaming fast. And then you're using an SSD drive, and that's why it just absolutely goes.
Yes, Apple, and even before the M1 chip, has gotten to where they even would solder in the RAM. So even with my MacBook Pro, I do not believe I can actually change it if I wanted to. And was somebody going to say something?
Well, I had a MacBook Pro 2012, and I was able to add 8 gigs of RAM to it.
Yes, Chanel was able to upgrade hers too at one point too, but I have a MacBook 2019 that I don't believe.
No, yeah.
Yes.
Right, 2012 you could have, I believe.
Yes, I'm running a 2012 and a 2019, and the 2012 is definitely upgradable. In fact, I remember us getting the RAM from Crucial.com and then going to Best Buy and having them install it back in 2015, I think it was, 2016. But my MacBook Pro 2019, I do not believe we can do that. So there you go. But yeah, great understanding there, Dan. So
every now and then I make a mistake and I get it.
That's okay. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Anna, did that demo of zipping and unzipping help you at all? And I'm hearing somebody in the background.
It's me, Ibrahim.
Ibrahim.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead and ask your question.
So the website you just mentioned, Crucial.com, do they also provide batteries or just do RAM?
I don't remember.
Okay. And is that website still available, or do you know if they went out of business? Okay.
This was years ago.
But, I mean, keep in mind there's a lot of battery retailers out there, so...
And, okay, I'll check them out. Thanks for that.
Yep. All right.
Well, I think it's... the zipping, it's not as complicated as, say, Windows. I don't think. It doesn't sound
Windows... Right. Well, Windows isn't complicated anymore, thanks to really even going back to XP, but definitely since Windows 7. But the difference with Windows is if you want stuff in a folder, you have to make the folder, whereas the Mac creates the folder for you, and then you can move
That's
it anywhere
handy.
you want.
That's cool.
Yes. Well, that's something else to really love about the Mac. I think zipping, and I think the process of zipping larger files is faster on the Mac too. And I'm comparing it to doing the same process on, the boot camp side. So, but yeah, I do think it's a lot easier to unzip on the Mac.
Oh, sorry.
Though
go
it
ahead.
It can be fun when you have zip files with really, really long names, and yeah. Anyway.
No, just we've got lots of people here who I am approving your memberships for this club. So you just need to go into your activity feed and then accept it, and then you will actually be members. And I'm going to be
excellent. Glad to have you all aboard.
Off in just a couple minutes.
And by the way, folks, just another quick announcement. So, a couple of people loved hearing me talk about the Mac so much last week, and knowing I love to talk about it, then I've been asked to do it even more. And so I will be also doing the same thing on the iBug Today Club on Wednesday evenings, starting in July. So if you can't make one event, then you can make the other. And I've opted to do this as two separate events, so that way we can, hopefully be able to include more people, because, we can't please everyone, obviously, because everybody has different schedules. So if you can't make these morning, afternoon ones on Thursday, then perhaps you or somebody else would have a better chance for the Wednesday one. So and that's on the iBug Today Club. Be sure to follow them. We also have the Mini Buzz on Tuesday from 5 to 6, which is iOS related. So if you have any iOS questions, that is an opportunity to go ask those. So be sure to check out iBug Today. And I will be doing iOS demos on this particular club. I'm going to plan on talking about DoorDash and Uber Eats. That's going to be next Sunday, and I'll talk more about that next Thursday. I was hoping to be able to have a bit more of a fancier setup with those demos, and so far that's not working out the way I wanted, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm a little disappointed about that, but I'm going to do some more playing around with stuff. So I'll have more details finalized next Thursday. I was originally going to do it this week, but that did not work out. Okay, any final questions before we get to the contacts demo?
Yeah, I just have a little bit of quick tech news. I just found out this morning because I was in a room that a lady was doing
All right, tech news. That's exciting. Let's hear it.
This is something that's been around. It was originally called, and it's from Spotify. It's a Clubhouse clone. It was originally called Locker Room, and they've rebranded it, and it's called Green Room now.
Yes, and I did hear about that.
It was changed over yesterday. Now, I tried to download it, and that wasn't a problem, but you're going to run into a snag when you after you do your username and password and put in your date of birth. They want you to include a photo, and it's a real bugger to get to that, and I can't seem to get there.
Biblebook.zip, remove from selection, 0 items selected.
So I don't know. I'm not going to get Sandy to look at it when she comes over tonight, because I'm geeky. I want to try it and see how it compares to Clubhouse. The nice thing about this app, though, Herbie, is there's a record button.
Oh, cool.
You can record any room that you do, and it tells the people who are in it that you're recording the room.
That is totally good. And, if it's part of Spotify, I hope they do something where you could actually share Spotify music within the room.
They did mention music when you download the app, so I would assume that it's there once you get in. So a lot of and the comment in the room I was in, it was mostly sighted people, of course, was that if the Clubhouse people don't pull up their socks and come out with what they promised, because we're still waiting for an update this week, people are getting rather annoyed.
Well, we do still have Club Deck, which can do some things that the iOS and Android apps cannot.
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm just putting it out there because you're going to hear about it.
Well,
and you're
hey, you know what, folks?
It.
Well, it's really getting interesting, and we could really go into some interesting realms here. But hey, when somebody sees a good thing going, they're going to copy it. For instance, Apple's now trying to get into the Zoom market a little bit with their new things they're doing with FaceTime and the sharing and whatnot. So, it's going to be interesting to see how these things shape out.
Everybody's getting into it. Facebook just released theirs in a limited.
Twitter Spaces and
Twitter Spaces. I've tried with Stephen Scott from AMI and RNIB. He had a room in Twitter Spaces, and it's wonky, and you can only have 11 or 10 speakers at a time in Twitter Spaces, and to be an actual user, you got to have something like 1,700 followers.
So we're going to talk about Contacts, and actually this is not a very complicated app. So that's why I chose to do it today, because it's only actually going to really take a few minutes. So why would you want to use Contacts on your Mac if you already have it on your phone? Well, A, not everybody is necessarily an iPhone user, but B, there are some interesting advantages. For one, if you are good with typing, that is an extreme benefit to be able to typing in names and whatnot. Two, for instance, if you're like me, if you get a lot of information from emails and whatnot, like we have an application for our station, it's a lot easier just to paste that into the proper edit fields than it is to
Club Deck.
And I'm going to do a
audio quality.
Master
Mute
audio,
here. End link. Open mod chat. Link. Show follow. Link.
But
stop record. Link. Audio setting. Link. Hand permission. Link. Mute everyone. To alert. Okay. Cancel. Okay.
So anyway, Contacts is actually very easy to use, and I'm going to show you how. So
Finder.
Most
open.
of the time it'll be on your dock, so we get there with VOD, and then
Contacts 6 of 34.
In my case, Contacts is the first C that I hit, so I hit enter.
Club Deck, Contacts, Contact search, window, search.
So we've got a Contacts search.
Vertical splitter.
And now if I VO right.
CZ.
So it's telling me the letter combination of who it's currently pointed to in its cursor position.
Casey Lynn Zawczek. Scroll area.
And so then after that I see the name.
Case CZ.
So it's saying, CZ.
Casey Lynn Zawczek.
And then it's saying, the name. It doesn't include the middle initial.
Scroll area. Message. Button.
And then we can scroll, we can message, call, and I'll get to that in a minute. But what about actually adding a new contact? So let us do that with a very universal command for the Mac. If you want to do something new, Command N.
New card. First, edit text.
So now we've got a new contact card. So I'm going to just make up a name here. We're going to do Charlie for our first name.
Delete. Last, edit text.
And then I'm going to VO right once. That takes us to the last name field.
Group list, table, all contacts. Selected.
Group list. So what this is, if I go into that, I can change where it's going into. I can have it go into all contacts.
In group list, iCloud. All iCloud, level 2. On my Mac, level 1. All on my Mac, level 2. CHM.Allen, all CHM.Allen2011.
So basically I can choose if I just want it to go to a Gmail or
on my Mac.
Only on the Mac.
All
Maybe I don't
group
want
list,
it in
table.
iCloud. In this case, it's going to go to all my contacts.
Vertical splitter. Search text. Vertical image. Herbert Allen. Contact info. Add menu. Edit button. Add contact list table. Herbert Allen.
Unfortunately, sometimes what
contact
does
info
happen
table
is that it can lose focus.
FaceTime. Contact list table. Herbie Allen.
And that can really get
Chanel Marie Allen. Charles Platt. Judy Potter. Aaron Preston.
Okay, that can get a little bit frustrating. So what we do then is if we go
name, edit text.
N, and we're going to go back to writing the name.
Group list, tape, vertical splitter.
And we're going to VO right past the group list. We go to vertical splitters.
Company, expanded text.
I can write in a company name here if I wanted.
Scroll area. Company, unchecked, check.
If I check that box, then it automatically assumes that this is just going to have a company name. and that takes away the first and last name field.
Info. Selected. Radio button. 1 of 2.
Okay, so now we've got 2 radio buttons here, and you see that the info one is selected.
Picture. Radio button. 2 of 2. Contact. Info. Table.
And then we've got contact info. So now...
Add. Menu button. Contact
info. And then we can add and...
Add. Done button.
A
add
done
contact
button. So we're going to interact with this table.
In contact info. Table. Mobile phone. Mobile pop-up button. Selected.
Okay, so let's
mobile
say
phone.
They have a mobile phone number. Okay, I want to add with that. So first of all, what happens if you were to VO right?
Empty cell, row 2.
You're going to see something that says empty cell. This really threw me off, but it doesn't help much. So let's VO left.
Mobile phone. Mobile pop-up button.
And now we're going to interact.
In mobile phone. Mobile pop-up button.
So this is a key thing here. When you see these pop-up buttons, if you want to add it, you need to interact. The first thing you're going to see is the type of phone number that it is. So the Mac defaults to mobile.
Empty cell, row 2. Mobile phone. Mobile pop-up button. Mobile pop-up button.
But if I do a VO space.
Menu checkmark. Mobile.
Now I can change it to whatever I want.
iPhone.
By arrowing down. I've got iPhone.
Apple Watch. Home. Work. Main. Home fax. Work fax. Other fax. Pager. Other. Custom ellipsis. Checkmark. Mobile.
So you'll recognize these from the similar ones to the iPhone, and you can even do your own custom label. And yes, I have done those, like say with Metrolift, where we have a number for dispatch, a number for reservations, and all that. Now I'm going to VO right.
iPhone phone. Edit text.
And now I've got my edit text field. And now I can just type in the phone number, or in some cases, I can paste it. So we're going to do, let's see.
Selection replaced.
All right. And I just typed in a phone number.
Out of 8.
And I can
8,329,998,000. 832-999-8255. iPhone.
And there's actually, technically, if it still works, that's the number for my telespace, but...
Mobile phone. Mobile pop-up button. Empty cell. Row 3. Mobile phone. Mobile 832-999.
So now,
mobile phone.
And now you're seeing, so if I go to the right and I've uninteracted with that table, I can interact with the next mobile phone number. If I want to add in an additional phone number, I
Empty
can
cell.
right.
Home email. Home pop-up.
And, they have an email address. So if I want to, I can interact with this home email address pop-up button.
Home email. Home pop-up button.
I can change the type of email address it is, or I can VO right.
Home email. Edit text.
And I can write in the text field. Blah.
Selection replaced. BL.
Blah, blah, at blah, 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 .com.
Out of.
All right.
Work email. Work pop-up button.
And then, you got your fields
Empty
for
cell.
work email.
Ringtone. Classic pop-up button.
I can change the ringtone here. And the way it works is, so if I VO space on that.
Empty cell. Row 8. Oh. Ringtone. Classic. Classic. Ringtone. Pop-up button.
I got to VO, do the same concept.
Ringtone. Dimmed.
With that.
Classic.
So interact with the table, VO right to the actual pop-up button.
Menu checkmark. Class.
And now I can go down.
Alert tones. Aurora. Bamboo. Alert. Checkmark. Waves. Uplift. Twinkle. Summit. Stargaze. Slow rise. Silk. Signal. Signal.
And then you're not hearing this, but it'll play the ringtone once I select it.
Out of. Ringtone.
Interact with that.
Empty cell. Text tone. Note pop-up button.
I can do text tone.
Empty cell. Row 10.
Concept.
Homepage URL. Homepage pop-up button.
Same with the homepage
Empty
URL.
cell. Birthday. Empty cell. Row 14.
The birthday is just a straight text edit field.
Home username. Empty cell. Empty cell. Note. Note.
And there you got all that. So once I'm done, you see I think you're hearing the bonking sound. So once I'm done with that, I unwrap.
Out of contact.
And I VO right.
Add. Menu button.
I can add additional fields.
New contact. New group. Add field to phone. Add field to card. Dimmed. Phone. Email. Birthday. Address. Profile.
And so on and so forth.
More fields. More fields. Submenu.
So if I go down to more fields.
More field. Prefix. Middle name. Suffix. Nickname. Phonetic company. Job title. Department.
So
maiden name. Lunar birthday.
You can hear
URL.
All
date.
The different things.
You
I
can
add in.
Suffix. Middle name.
If I want to add in a middle name field, I'll VO space on
middle,
that.
Edit text. Brown. Content selected. Last. Middle. Edit text.
So now it took me right to that edit field. So I'll type in H, Charlie H. Brown.
Brown. Content. Group.
And now
add. Done. Button.
I'm going to VO right all the way to my done button. And it's not good with the feedback.
Edit button.
But
Share card. Share card.
You
Button.
can now
Edit,
see
add,
that it's done because I no longer have a done button. Instead, I have an add.
Edit button.
I can edit this contact.
Share card button.
Or I can share the contact card.
Edit. Add. Contact. Mail. Video. iPhone.
Some
scroll
other
area.
things here. So once I get, if I'm in a contact card, I can
message button.
Message them.
Message. iPhone. Make FaceTime audio call button.
I can make a FaceTime audio call.
iPhone. Video. Dimmed button.
And that would actually just call the phone. It would actually
iPhone. Make FaceTime audio call button.
So that's how that would work. Now I can do FaceTime video.
Mail button. Mail. Contact info table. Mail.
So
message.
On and so forth. I've not had good luck with actual contacts that have URLs.
Scroll area.
And then if I want to go through my contact list, I VO left to the scroll area.
Carly Brown. Donald Brown. Carly H. Brown. Rich J. Brook. Carly H. Brown.
It rewrote my first name here. Okay. But you know what? I don't like this contact. Now I want it gone, so I'm going to hit...
In dialog, cancel.
The delete key.
Delete. Default.
VO
button.
Right. And it's gone.
The message. Dimmed. Contact list. Table. Carly Brown. Selected.
And this other one's
in dialog. Delete.
Too.
Default. Button.
And there you go. So no hunting effect for your delete key. You can just backspace on the one you want.
Sylvia Pazenko. Customer care.
All right. Now, a couple of things that you need to know about in the preferences.
Row 1 customer.
So let's work command
Row 1 expanded.
If you will shut up voiceover. Thank you.
Minimize.
And that was not supposed to happen.
Doc.
So we
contacts.
Open
Club deck.
Contacts.
Contact search.
And we will.
Preferences. General. Selected. Toolbar.
Okay, so it takes me to general.
Accounts. Button.
So we've got general, accounts.
Template. Button.
Template.
Card. Button. Card. Button.
Template. And all that. General. So unlike VLC, this takes me right into the list of tabs. So I just mainly care about general. I'm going to uninteract and VO right.
Show first name. Before last name, show first name. Selected. Radio button. 1 of 2.
So you can show first name first or last name first, whichever your preference
Following last
is.
name, show first name. Radio button. 2 of 2.
As you can tell, I have the first name selected first.
Sort by. Last name. Sort by. Pop-up button.
Sort by last name. So now this is not the same as this display, because what this will do is it'll sort by alphabetical order for the last name. But if you want it to go in alphabetical order for the first name, then you can switch it here by VO spacing on the combo box.
Short name format. First name only. Pop-up button. Prefer nicknames. Checked. Checkbox.
So you can have it display somebody's nickname if they have one.
Show Siri suggestions. Checked. Check address format. United States. Address format. Pop-up button. Default account. iCloud. Default account. Pop-up button.
Default account. So make sure your iCloud is set to your default if you want your contacts to merge with your phone. The first time I used contacts on the Mac, I did actually have to turn off the contact sync in the iCloud on the phone and turn it back on. And that seems to have fixed everything. Sometimes it can take a couple of minutes to sync up, but
help
it does
button.
work.
Help button.
And then you've got your help button.
Club deck. Club.
Not too
Doc,
much
contacts,
really
club deck,
in the menus.
contacts.
I did Command Q instead of
Menu
Command
bar.
W.
Apple. Contacts. File.
You've got your file menu.
New group from selection. New group Command Shift N.
You can do groups. I've never really done much with this.
New smart group ellipsis. New smart group from close command W. Edit menu.
You got your standard edit menu.
View hide groups command. Show last import command option. L. Enter full screen command. Hide groups command. Show last import command card menu. Go to next card command. Right bracket. Go to previous card command. Left bracket. Merge selected cards. Look for duplicates ellipsis.
So you can, if you VO right to that menu, you can do some of these things that you can do on the phone, like look for duplicates.
Add field. Sub mark as a company command. Backslash.
You can mark something as a company.
Add field. Sub menu.
You can add default fields here.
Show last name before first. Make this my card. Go to my card command shift.
You can make something your default contact card.
Share my card. Sub menu.
And you can share your contact card.
Clear custom image. Choose custom image ellipsis. Open in separate window command.
And you can
India.
open the card in a separate window.
Go to next card command.
And
window menu.
There
search
text. So that is how contacts works. I think you'll find that it is relatively easy to make use of. And with that, I will take any questions. All right. Well, and on that, unless there are any actual final questions, I will go ahead and say goodbye, but I will take any final questions. Switch this. And you should no longer be hearing my voiceover. And all right, so with that, guys, we definitely had a good club, I thought. And we almost spanned 2 hours. All right, so does anybody have any final questions? All right. Well, like I said, we are going to say goodbye next week. We will be back at the normal time. And that will be at 11 Central instead of 12 instead of noon. I don't have any webinars to attend or anything like that. I want to thank those of you that actually did join the club today, and we'll keep tabs and make sure anybody that joins the club is accepted as a member, and then make sure you go to your activity feed to also accept the membership.